This video features spoilers for My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. Hey guys, it's Pineapple, and in this video, we'll be talking about one of the stars of My Hero Academia Heroes Rising, Katsuma Shimano. This brave young boy has dreams of becoming a hero, but he feels like his quirk isn't strong enough to become one. He wants to be the kind of hero that beats up bad guys to protect everyone, just like Bakugo does, but Bakugo has a quirk that makes things explode, and Katsuma's quirk, well, let's talk about it. Follow me on Twitter at VocalPineapple to keep up with me and all sorts of stuff. Hit that like button if you find the video interesting, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon and click all notifications to join the League of Notifications and get notified whenever I upload. You can also click join and get access to these great emojis done by Fruit Loop Chan on Twitter by joining the Pineapple Hero Agency for a small contribution to the channel each month. With all that out of the way, let's get to talking about this young potential hero after that intro. Hit it! In My Hero Academia Heroes Rising, we meet a young boy that goes by the name of Katsuma Shimano. He's definitely a fun character who got awes all throughout my viewing of Heroes Rising in the theater, but this character definitely has far more potential than just being a radiating source of wholesomeness. Katsuma has his own dreams and ambitions, and one of those is his dream of becoming a hero. He slowly embraces this dream over the course of the movie, but at first he's put off by it because his sister talks bad about heroes. She tries to prove to him that heroes aren't that great and makes sure to use every chance she can get to test the UA heroes, all to try to make Katsuma give up on his dream, because she feels like being a hero is far too dangerous for someone like Katsuma with his quirk. What if he got hurt? She's his big sister, and with her major image illusion quirk, it's not like she can really help him if he gets in trouble, right? Even as Nine approached the two to steal Katsuma's quirk, her illusions couldn't stop the villain's approach. So you could see how this big sister reasons that the best option for Katsuma is to just want to be like their father, who isn't a hero, but is apparently the coolest guy on the planet to them anyway, which is really sweet, but that whole kind of suppressive energy isn't really what we're on, because as Katsuma proves throughout the movie, he actually does seem to have what it takes to become a hero. During Heroes Rising, Katsuma's sister gets grabbed by Nine, and in a desperate moment, Katsuma runs forward to save his sister, mirroring the scene from the first chapter where Deku runs to save Bakugo. This scene told us everything we needed to know about whether or not Katsuma had the heart and resolve of a true hero, and overall the two kids are definitely supposed to be reflections of Deku and Bakugo. Even though Katsuma looks and acts like Deku, he actually has a different goal. He wants to be much more like Bakugo, a hero who wins by beating up the bad guys. He says that he can't be a hero though because his quirk isn't made for that, and I mean he's right to a certain extent, because with just a healing ability, he might be a liability on the battlefield or on the cruel streets, but this made me think of two things that I feel would bring out the true value of Katsuma's quirk. So first off, the most important thing to discuss so we can get to those two things is Katsuma's quirk, what it does, and how he could use it as a hero in the way that we've already seen him use it, which is on others. Cell activation, Katsuma's quirk, does exactly what the name suggests. It activates a person's cells. This not only heals them, but it gives them enhanced performance as well, giving the recipient a significant boost in durability, since Deku goes from being able to only use 20% at max usually to being able to withstand 100% of One for All to punch Nine's tornado with only a broken arm that wasn't disabled in any way to show for it. This means that Katsuma's quirk being used on Deku made it so that his body could actually handle One for All at 100% without completely exploding. So what does that mean it could do for a normal person? After all, the usual person isn't presented with an internal superpower so strong that it might blow their bodies apart. What's the effect of the quirk on Bakugo? Well, in the movie, we see that everyone struggles to destroy Nine's shield or destroy his dragons, but after Katsuma's quirk is used on Bakugo and Deku, we see that they're actually able to work together to completely handle Nine and all of his quirks. Bakugo is able to destroy Nine's shield, and Deku is just easily kicking through Nine's dragon, and this is a huge difference from how things were going earlier. Nine himself had moments where he seemed shocked at the difference between these two now and before, especially when Bakugo turned into a flaming wheel and shattered his barriers apart, and all of this happens before Bakugo gets One for All, so this is all just happening off of Katsuma's boost. So yeah, of course, this is the movie's way of boosting Deku and Bakugo and making it so them suddenly having the strength to fight against Nine doesn't feel weird or contrived, but at the same time, it really presents Katsuma's quirk to us as being a great one, and that's a struggle for the character through the movie, going from saying that his quirk can't be useful to anyone to using his quirk to help the two heroes save the day, and even using it on Shoji to keep him alive. Katsuma steps up in a big way and is actually on the battlefield, kind of acting like a little junior combat medic. So where could he take that if he were to grow older and learn about his quirk a bit more while keeping it down the same path that he's already gone down? Well, if Katsuma masters his quirk, he can be the kind of hero that shows up on the scene and heals other heroes, which is very important when you consider the danger of the villains, but I don't think that he's just limited to being some weak healer that shows up on the scene. I actually see Katsuma as being able to fulfill the cleric role in a party of heroes. Now, if you don't know anything about D&D, or maybe you do just a bit, clerics just sound like wimpy healers to you, but with a massive spell list and some crazy things that they can do the higher levels that they get, they're actually extremely capable and dangerous, just like Katsuma. Katsuma's quirk could theoretically do some very useful things, like quickly give someone a healing boost in the same fashion as a cure wounds spell, cleanse someone of poison or sickness like a restoration spell, keep a body fresh like the gentle repose spell, and even boost a person's total performance, or maybe super boost something specific like their vision or their physical fitness, sort of like the enhance ability spell. The way forward for Katsuma is definitely to train his quirk until he can just tap someone and have his healing and boost take effect. To do this, he'd actually have to learn how to take all of his quirk's energy and release it over a person's body at once, but you could definitely see how that would be something that he could work on and train with time. I also think Katsuma should try to figure out if there's a way that he can control what gets boosted in a person's performance, like I previously mentioned. With that said, what are two other ways that I think Katsuma could truly blossom as a hero if I start turning my theory brain on and get a little wilder? Well, first is an easy solution. If Katsuma uses quirk on himself, he could boost his own durability and performance, and maybe this would let him be able to compete with other heroes and at least move around to provide healing and keep himself safe. But the second idea, honestly, is just so much more fun in my opinion, so let's just do that one instead. Deku calls out to Katsuma at the end of the movie and tells him that he can be a hero. He tells Katsuma that he'll be waiting for him at UA, and of course, this got the gears turning and you know in exactly which direction. Now, I've seen people suggest that Koda should get one for all, I've seen people suggest that Eri should get one for all, but today, I want to suggest, at least hypothetically suggest, that the best future one for all user out of all the young cast that we've seen thus far is definitely Katsuma, and Deku giving Katsuma one for all in the future would accomplish a few things for both of their characters. One, it would give Katsuma his dream of being able to be a hero who can win by beating up bad guys, since he'd have one for all, and that would give him super strength, speed, and of course other things as well. We've seen how Izuku went from being completely helpless and ineffective to being a strong and capable hero. Both of these two definitely share the same bravery, but Katsuma has the benefit of having a healing quirk, so he can actually embody both Deku and Bakugo's ideas of saving and winning, since he'd be able to beat up the bad guys and heal and save anyone who was in danger with a smile on his face. It truly does seem like a dream come true for this young kid, and something that I know Izuku, who already was willing to give his quirk over to Bakugo, who shares a similar story, would definitely find perfect if he's ever in his older years and thinks back to possible successors. Two, it would actually fit if you consider what Katsuma's quirk does. Deku has a big issue using one for all because his body isn't ready, and he has to be very careful because Recovery Girl can only do so much. Well, with Katsuma, even if that was the case of him having the same issue of not being able to control one for all's power throughout his body, he could simply use his quirk to activate his own cells and enhance himself. In fact, thinking about it, if Katsuma had one for all and enhance himself regularly, he'd actually be incredibly dangerous with the ability. In a way, Katsuma would be more like All Might with the quirk, since he'd be able to use his quirk on himself to stabilize his body and use more of one for all at higher percentages quicker, and I think that's really awesome to think about. Imagine Katsuma in full cowling, with his healing aura also contributing to the energy around him as he stands there both boosted by one for all, but also super boosted by his now one for all enhanced cell activation quirk. All of that with Bakugo's mindset of hunting villains down and beating them up, there might actually be someone scarier than Deku for one for all to go to, and for that to be this young movie character is again awesome. Third, of course, is this could potentially be a really nice way to tie up the end of the series, which by the way hopefully is still a really far way away, with a really nice parallel. Imagine the series ending with Deku giving the quirk to a young UA student that we see is actually Katsuma. I think it'd be really sweet and fitting, especially after Katsuma recreated the scene where Deku proves that he can be a hero to All Might, and then Deku recreates the scene where All Might decides to give his quirk to Deku to allow him to be the hero that he knows that he can be. With Deku's declaration that he'll be waiting for Katsuma at UA, does this mean that Deku plans to see where Katsuma's future goes to see if he can wrap up all of his responsibilities as a symbol of peace, so that one day, maybe this young hero with the ability to bring health and prosperity to those around him could take the quirk into his own hands and do something special with it? After all, after a long era of battles between the sides of good and evil, especially on the scale that the series is heading towards, society is going to need some time to recover. Having Katsuma become a hero and then step into the role of the 10th one for all user could continue Deku's era of peace and move the world into an era of healing. And knowing that Katsuma's healing quirk would probably become so much better with the use of One for All and all the good that he can do with it makes me smile at this idea at the very least. Can Katsuma become a hero? I'd argue that he can become the hero that holds up society after Deku's time has come and gone. Not as the greatest hero like Deku, but as the one who lent a helping warm hand to those picking up and rebuilding as society grows and heals, almost like Katsuma uses quirk on society itself. Do you think Katsuma could become a great hero, and do you think he could do it with or without One for All? If he did have One for All, do you think he'd have more control over it than Deku does because of his quirk, and would it be even scarier since his performance is boosted? Let's talk about it and let me know what you think. Shout out to Parker Hagram, Sam Wolf, Raikari, Xavier Zamora, Stevia M, and Chris Anderson for joining the Pineapple Hero Agency. If you haven't seen, I've gotten 6 emojis that are added to the channel that you can access even as a $2 member, so check those out if you think they're cute. My monthly Q&A for Q&A members is going to be uploaded in the middle of the month, I think, so get those questions for the Q&A post on my community tab. And for those of you who are subscribed to the bonus content here, make sure you cast your vote on my poll for which series I'm going to cover for the one-shot video next month. I do owe you guys a Black Clover video, I have a Jujutsu Kaisen video coming out, and I got some other fun stuff coming out soon, but for now I'm going to see you guys later. This is Pineapple, peace.